Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing another scrap album with you. This is another 2-hour album. If you saw my 4x4, it's going to be a very similar sort of process and method, but with completely different photos and colors and supplies because again, these are gifts, so they are meant to reflect the person that they are given to. Um, for this one, it's for my friend Juliet. She lives in Taiwan right now. And she got married in May, so she was here for several months, kind of planning and getting ready for um, the wedding and all of that stuff. And so we got to spend a lot of time with her, which was really great. And we always send a package for her birthday, and I wanted to send something special this year. I feel like I'm always sending books, which books are great, but I wanted to also send, I don't know, something a little more personal. And since I've been doing so many albums lately, I thought it would be really fun to make a small album for her. So I'll put the exact supplies I use down below, but most of this album is Maggie Holmes' Gather collection. And I just cut down papers from her 12 by 12 paper pad into 4 by 6 and 3 by 4 sizes. And those are going to be the bones of the album, along with obviously the photos. So again, I'm just using the pieces to kind of go back and forth and choose those patterns. So, you know, there aren't two florals back to back, etc. And just placing the photos where they work. For this, these are photos from sort of her like pre-wedding events and showers and parties and things, and then some from her wedding as well. So I'm going in chronological order because I kind of want the events to be grouped together. Again, I'm using white cardstock, just plain white cardstock in between the layers just to make it a little bit thicker. And I'm trimming down the photos as needed because I want to make sure that you can see enough of the papers and that there's room to embellish without covering up someone's face, etc. So I'm just sticking them down as I go, again building the bones of the album. You'll notice I'm using a lot of gold glitter because I want it to be fun and pretty and embellished and, you know, just to add a little bit of sparkle to it. So I'm just currently working through some photos of a shower that we threw for her. It's just kind of a girls' night. I'm using these Heidi Swapp stickers mostly because I have not had a good chance to use them yet, but also because they match that washi tape really well. So I couldn't think of a better time to start using them than now. So now I'm just, you can see I'm looking at what's left from this event and trying to find a good place for them. Again, just looking through all the cards that I cut, looking for the right patterns to include. I think I decided to do, a 3x4 card here. Again, when you start, you kind of have to imagine how you want everything to be aligned. Imagine how everything will flip as it's sitting next to each other. So it takes a little bit of time to think through in the beginning. One thing I like to do on these so you can see more of the pattern of the card that they're on is put them on kind of offset like this. So you'll see when I stick it down, it's going to hang off the edges. And then I'm going to put another photo of the same size on the other side. So that way there aren't any gaps or anything like that, but it's also not perfectly aligned and it looks a little more interesting that way. So it's a good way to include different size photos, but also different sized cards within your mini albums. So I'm just building another 4x6 page, again with the white cardstock, trimming down my edges, but you'll notice I did a little bit better this time than last time. I was trimming like crazy because I just did not try very hard to be vigilant with my measuring last time around. So again, that will save you a lot of time if you, you know, kind of do a more exact measurement the first time. But again, I'm just kind of impatient, so I typically don't. um, Now I'm just trying to decide which direction I want this next card to go. And I cut down this 4x6 just a little so that way there's more of a border at the top with the card. And I don't stick down the top of this photo so that way I now have a pocket. So I'm later going to put some journaling in there for her, to just try to, I don't know, recap some of the details and the funny moments so that way she can read about them and just kind of smile, especially if she's missing people while she's away in Taiwan. I guess it's not away anymore, it's her home, but but it feels like away sometimes, I'm sure. Um, so here I'm just doing some quick journaling, and I'm wanting to make sure I include the date as well, since again these events happened throughout the spring of this year. So I'm stamping the date on the card there where the journaling is going. And then just going to finish some journaling. And I think I do most of the other journaling off screen later. But luckily this is a little faster than my typical my typical journaling, which is very slow. So it turns out that I've actually printed a few too many cards and a few too many photos, I'm sorry. And so I have this picture of a dessert that I made for the party, mostly just because it turned out really pretty. And it didn't really need to be in this album. So I just adhere it to the back of the journaling card, and then I put it in the pocket I made, but I'm trying to remember where my pocket is. And I actually left a few, so I choose the first page for now. And then I move it. So I go ahead and add a paper clip to it, so that way she'll know there's journaling in there. And so I choose the small bow, which I think is from the Crepe Paper Cute Girl collection. But I really love the clip. Now I'm going back to the front because I want to add a title to the album. I used my handy dandy Kelly Purkey white alpha that I just use constantly. And I'm just spelling out here Miss to Mrs. She's technically already married in Taiwan, but this is still a wedding album, so I wanted it to say something fun on the title page. So this actually ends up being a tiny bit small, a tiny bit hard to read, but I still think it accomplishes what I want it to, so I just leave it. I go ahead and add the date to this card as well because I want it to be outward facing what the dates were instead of just hidden in the pocket. And so now I'm moving on to the next event, which was her bachelorette party. So I have some photos, lots of photos from that night, and I'm kind of dividing those up chronologically as well. We had dinner, and then we went to a karaoke bar and a champagne bar and all these different things. And so I wanted to kind of put them more or less in order. So the first photos are from dinner. And the second photo, which is very dark, but it's kind of a neat photo, is from a champagne bar that we went to. So I'm trying to decide how to embellish, and I keep going back to that gold washi tape, which I'm still a little surprised by, but I like how it's looking. And then I use my white alpha again here on this photo, especially since it's so dark, to spell out champagne bar. And I'm just using my small scissors to poke out the middle of those letters, like the A, because it's kind of hard to do by hand sometimes, especially with small alpha. So that's a good trick if you struggle with that like I do. And champagne's a long word, so it's taking me a little while. And I'm using my tiny attacher to staple down the edges of that washi tape because I don't want it popping up. So I go back and do that to the front as well. I flip around a little bit less than I did with Olivia's 4x4 album, mostly because um, Juliet's album here is going to be a lot more chronological, so there's a lot less guesswork in, what should go where, whereas Olivia's was just photos from the year that I liked. So, um, really just trying to get everything down in order. Now I have two 2x2 photos that I'm sticking down on this 3x4 card because I want to have sort of a title card, I don't know, saying, separating the events from one another. And I'm trying to spell out bachelorette here with these really cute mint glitter alphas. It's kind of hard to describe. They're not very shiny, but they're really pretty, and I keep trying to use them, and they just don't quite fit. And I'm realizing now that I'm looking at this, I don't know why I'm putting a second R, bachelorette. No, that's not how you spell it. Anyway, it's not going to fit there regardless, so I put them all back and start over again. Yeah, that's definitely not how you spell that. I don't think that's how I do spell it, hopefully. Anyway, so I end up using these gold alpha, which fit a lot better, and also working sideways is working out. Yeah, see, I only put one. I don't know what I was trying to spell the first time around. I'm actually okay at spelling. But anyway, so just kind of spell that out there, and I like how it looks. I am going to add the date here, and I'm just trying to decide if I want to embellish it with anything else aside from the date. So I just stamp it, and then I go back to working on those photos. They fit well on the card, but I don't really like the gap and how it's all spread out, so I'm going to come back to it later. And I decided to go ahead and add bar to this champagne, this champagne bar picture, just to kind of fill it out a little bit more, and also just because it feels, I don't know, it felt weird just to say champagne. Maybe if there was an exclamation point, I would have left it, but there is not. I don't know. Do you guys use exclamation points? I feel like every time I want to leave a title, I'm like, champagne bar. Or, I don't know, I just feel the need to exclaim everything that I'm titling, which is, I don't know, maybe that's just me. But the white alpha doesn't have a exclamation point, so I don't get to do that with the white alpha. I've got a picture here that's kind of hard to see, but these are from the karaoke place that we went next. And I'm just sticking them down and then trimming the cards again. Trying to decide which direction I want them going. This one's really hard to see, but Juliet is being serenaded by a guy at the karaoke bar, and it was funny because everybody was singing like, pop and 90s music and stuff like that, and then on the screen you can see what's coming next, and it says Michael Bublé, and we were all like, Michael Bublé, that's gonna like kind of kill the mood that everybody's got going. But this man started singing, and he was amazing. Like it was just, he was phenomenal. And so everybody was cheering, and all the girls in the group were just kind of, giving him lots of attention. And so he came over and started singing to Juliet because she had like a bride sash on, and it was just very cute. So it's a little bit blurry, but you can, if you're looking closely, you can see that he's singing to her. And so I just loved it. The other picture on the back there is also from the champagne bar, but it's a little easier, or sorry, also from the karaoke bar, but it's a little easier to see. And I don't really know what I want to do with them, so I'm just moving on to building the bones of the next pages, which are the rehearsal dinner and rehearsal photos. Again, just sticking that cardstock down, and I think at this point I'm running out of adhesive in my roller, and I don't have an extra I don't have an extra insert of adhesive. So then Casey reminds me that my mom and sister got me these Tombow adhesive rollers that I forgot that I had. So it was good because I was worried I was going to have to stop and go to the craft store and pick up more. But I just start using this Tombow one, so if you were wondering, that's what it is. And it's a little more like gluey. It's not like strips of adhesive. It's more of a fluid line of almost like a glue, but it works just as well. So I'm just trimming down these photos to include from the rehearsal. I'm doing some sort of side-by-side 3x4s there, trimming them down just a little bit so that way they are, leaving some patterned in between, but they're still not quite small enough, so I end up adding some paper to it after I stick them down here. I love these pictures. There's one of Juliet's mom with her then fiance, now husband, because they got married just 2 weeks after Juliet did. But they're just really cute. They're just watching the rehearsal. So that's really fun. And I just add a strip of the paper that you tear off the 12x12 pads to the middle there to kind of create a divider. Now I'm just, again, looking for which paper I'd like to come next, which photo I want to use next. I'm trying to vary sizes if I can. So if one page has small photos, I'll try to use the bigger photo on the next page. If one page has a colorful pattern, I'll try to use something with less colors or whatever on the next page. It's not a perfect science, but if you're wondering what my method is, it's just to mix them up as I can. Adding more gold washi tape. I don't know if I've even mentioned this yet, but it's Scotch washi tape. I really like how their tape works. It's got a really nice stick to it. It doesn't wear out on you, which is great. I feel like sometimes you get washi tape and it just like curls up immediately after you stick it down. This next picture I'm doing is a 4x4 and it's the only one of its size, but I have this square photo of all of us girls on the morning of the wedding, and I wanted to use it because it was just really cute and fun, but because it's a square, I didn't want it to be a tiny like 2x2 picture, and so I did a 4x4, but I wanted it to be kind of on a vertical card so I could still put a title in without covering someone's face up, because we're all kind of packed in there. So this next picture is a picture from the wedding that Casey took while we were up there at the altar. And it was such a beautiful day, so I'm really glad that he was able to take a few discreet photos. So that way we have them to look back on. Just kind of trimming this card up a little bit. I have this Best Day Ever Heidi Swapp card, but I'm not exactly sure how I want to use it, but I do want to use it somewhere. I'm opening up this Mary Mary or Marie Marie, I'm not sure how you say it, washi tape with kind of a gold scallop to it. And I got it at Paper Source and I really like it. I believe I can't find it online because I already put it in a haul video. But if I do find it, I promise I will add it. I add it to the side there, and I like how it looks on the wedding side, but I don't really like it on the other side, so I think I change it later. But now I'm doing another 3x4 card. Again, just offsetting the picture to the card a little bit and doing the same thing on the other side. So I have a picture from the wedding reception and then a picture of me and my friend Jessica in our bridesmaids dresses, and I just wanted to include both of those. And then lastly, I have a picture that one of the bridesmaids slash one of the photographers took, and it turned out so beautiful, and so I asked her if I could have a copy, and she said yes, so I'm really glad, and so I'm just including that here at the end. And then on the back, I'm putting another piece of patterned paper, and I don't really know what I'm doing with it yet, I don't think, but I'm going to add some text to it later. So now I have all of the bones in place, and I'm going through and I'm ready to embellish. So again, if you get to a place where you don't know what to do with a certain card or a certain page, just leave it and come back, because there's no use in fixating on that kind of thing. I'm using the Maggie Holmes Gather stickers here, and I want to use this large flower, to try to cover up the stuff in the background of this picture. But it's really just a little bit too big, and so now I'm trying to see if I can put it anywhere else. And I really just can't because it's too large. So unfortunately, I've already messed with it a lot, and it's kind of like crinkly looking, and I try to stick it back to the card, but it doesn't go very well. So I'm hoping I can still use it later, but it's looking pretty sad right now. Now I'm playing with some Maggie Holmes chipboard stickers because I really want something to cover up that spot, but it's just nothing is quite the right size or shape. I'm giving up on it, and I'm now moving on to other cards. Again, just give yourself permission to move on as needed. Just adding some gold stickers, more more Maggie Holmes Gather stickers, and chipboard stickers throughout. There's a cat. There's Duchess. Oh, she's so cute. I'm just adding some stickers and things where I can to kind of try to embellish as I go. Again, I don't like these 2x2s next to each other without anything on them, so I'm going to add some of those tear off strips from the Maggie Holmes 12x12 paper pad. I'm just using those as scraps because there's no reason to recycle those when you can actually use them in your spreads. So I'm just kind of making a little T-frame there to try to break it up, give it more color, make it look a little more exciting. And I'm looking for more embellishments as well. I'm trying to decide if I can spell things out with those little gold alpha, but I've used them so much that I'm down to not very many letters left. At least not letters that you need to spell very many things. So just kind of looking through all my Maggie Holmes things. Most of them again are going to be from Gather, but this top one is from the Bloom collection. And the main reason I'm including that one is because it's all like gold and white and black, and that will like coordinate really well. So I end up using some words at the top, and I think those are from the Gather stickers. And then I'm using, that is a Dear Lizzie chipboard sticker that I used on the other side that says Lovely Day and like a banner. I'm again looking at those gold letters, trying to figure out if I can spell things out. I use the same as the Bachelorette title card to put in a rehearsal title underneath this picture here, because again I just want them divided up a little more clearly. Also makes them more interesting. I use my date stamp and my label stamp, so that way I can also add the date, because I think that's fun to include. This is just kind of a light pink scrap of paper, and I just stamp the label on there and then the date like I often do, and then cut it out and cut it in half, or maybe even smaller, so that way I don't have to have the full label on there. And again, I just use the biggest label a lot because it's the one that's wide enough for my date stamp. I'm just sticking it down at the edge of the photo there. And just continuing to flip through the different pages looking for good embellishments and good spots for embellishments. Some cards are always going to be easier than others, but this chipboard sticker works really well with that sort of like marbled looking paper in between. You can see I still want to use that flower, but it just doesn't fit. And so I add some more words there at the bottom. And I'm trying to decide if I want a foil heart on there, because I'm feeling the need to add gold to every page. And so I do add a little foam gold asterisk there. And I'm just continuing to sort of check out my options. I have this gold glittered arrow that I want a spot for, but I can't figure it out just yet. And there's this tag that says happy that I add to the photo of me and Juliet and Jessica. And I decided to take that scalloped washi tape off the other side. Because like I said, I didn't really like it there. It was kind of covering up too much of the edge of the photo. And now I'm just wanting to add a title to the wedding day, so that way it's kind of also divided up. So I put the big day, but I don't want to cover up anyone's face with the day, and there's not quite enough blank space there. So I'm re-evaluating what I'm going to spell out here. So I ended up using these bloom stickers from Maggie Holmes, and like I said in another video, they're almost kind of like washi stickers. I don't know, they're very thin, but I really like them. And now I'm trying the washi tape at the top. And I think I don't like it. I was gonna say I don't remember doing that. Yeah, I don't like the way that that looks. So I just keep kind of trimming this up because there's kind of a weird edge that's not lining up there. And so obviously I want to spell something else here. So I'm just using those Maggie Holmes Gather Gold Alpha that I use all the time to say day. So happy day. I really want to use this Best Day Ever card still, but I'm still not quite sure how I want to do it. So I'm trimming up the last page, trying to fill things in where I can. This says love you always, which I thought was a good set of words to stick on their little wedding picture there. And I'm adding some kind of gold hearts and other embellishments to these other pages. And I want to do something to the back still as well. So I decided to use the gold alpha again and put happy. And then I'm going to use this sticker from the Maggie Holmes Gather collection that says heart. And I like the idea that these two fonts are going to be quite different looking, so I think it's going to have a good contrast on the back here. And I really like the way that it looks. I'm glad that that's what I ended up doing. And of course I add more gold washi tape because apparently I cannot have enough. And just kind of looking through more embellishments, trying to work on those trouble spots. I have these little mini album kits that I got at Michael's one day. They were like the deal of the day a long time ago. And the main reason I got them is because they have these fun like transparency pages and some other fun like chipboard tags that you can punch out. And I really like this transparency page with the sort of diagonal gold thing like pattern on it. And so I decided to adhere the best day ever to the front of that. So I think it looks really cool that it's transparent. And so I add the other part of that label stamp that I did earlier in pink, and I put the date on it, but it kind of messes up. Like I said, sometimes with this date stamp, for some reason, if you push it too hard on the left, there's like a little black mark that comes up, and it's really annoying. So after doing it 3 times, I decided that this tiny black mark is fine. It's much smaller than it was the first time. And so then I go ahead and attach that to the top of the Best Day Ever card. That way, again, it's going to be saying what day it is. And I don't like the way the back looks, but I don't think there's anything I can do to really fix it, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I want to add this crepe paper cute girl tassel to the top, so I'm tiny attaching it because I decided that that will actually cover up the background that I was trying to get with the sticker earlier. And you'll see all these things in the close-up shots afterwards, so don't worry. I add another Heidi Swapp sticker, and yeah, just kind of keep flipping through, trying to find the spots that are not embellished enough, and I'm feeling good about the way that it looks, so I'm gonna get ready to hole punch. And if you saw my other video, I have a really, really bad hole punch. And so I use this aluminum foil to sharpen it occasionally. So if you wonder what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. So I'm just punching the holes and using the page that I just punched to punch the next page. That way none of them get too worn out, and just trying to line them up as I go. Most of these are the same size, but some of them obviously are not. So it is a little easier to punch this time around than last time. So yeah, again, just struggling with my hole punch. If anybody has a good recommendation for a hole punch that works really well, please leave it in the comments, because the one that I have is not it. Again, just like with the last album, if you get to kind of a spot where you don't know what you want to do next, take a break and do something else, like punching holes, or just go away and come back to it, and then maybe that will give your brain enough of a rest that you can solve your own problem when you come back. I'm just sharpening the hole punch again. And just like with my last album, I'm going to be using the 1-inch jump rings, and I just got those at Hobby Lobby. They're just silver. If I had had time, I may have tried to find gold ones, just because I used so much gold washi tape, washi tape, but I didn't have the forethought for that. And I didn't have time because I wanted to get it in the mail to her, because it takes about 2 weeks to ship a package out there. So I just wanted to get it in the mail. So here you can see I'm just putting everything on the jump rings, lining it up, and sticking it through. So now you can see my quick flip through of my final pages. I really like the way that it turned out overall. And like I said, I'll add some journaling later, just for her to kind of read the memories. And they're just kind of pointing to this journaling here. And there's a photo on the other side. So again, if you manage to reprint, even though you think that you will not, just be creative with the space you have left. You can see that Dear Lizzie chipboard sticker now. It says lovely time. And yeah, I think it turned out really well. So I think hopefully this gives you a good example of how you can use mostly items from one collection, or one collection plus one other set of alpha, really not very many supplies, to create a full album that works together really well. It's cohesive, the colors are right, etc. But it wasn't a lot of work, and you don't have to buy a lot of supplies, which is great. So I really like the way this turned out, and I hope that she likes it too when she gets it. I won't be able to post it until she does, just in case. But yeah, I really love it. So now I'm going to show some close-up shots of the pages, just to kind of finish it up. So I guess let me know if there's anything that you guys have been wanting to see on this channel. If you have any questions about this album or this method, I'd love to know what they are. If I can answer them, I happily will. Let me know what paper collections you're really loving lately, as well, because I'm always looking for good recommendations on that kind of thing. And I'd love to know if any of you guys make gift albums for people that you know. If you're enjoying these videos, basically anything that you would like to share with me, I'd love to hear. I don't know. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I think that the Gather collection is just so versatile, because it can look really nice and trendy and modern, but it also can be more subdued. Like, it's just really fun, and I have enough left over from what I cut to make another album, so I'm looking forward to that as a future project, and I think it'll be fun. So again, hopefully this gives you some ideas for gift albums, for quick documenting projects, things that you can do in 2 hours or less for someone that you love. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. You are all awesome. Bye.